Well, howdy, 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 everybody. Teresa here, and
Brad.
I'm Bradley.
Brad.
Happy anniversary.
You too. Love you too. I know, because I'm a wiener.
Anyway, we came on here today to do our special anniversary, 30th anniversary video.
Can you believe she's put up with me for that many years?
So we thought we'd start with, first off, I want to say what the weather and stuff is like, because I didn't do it on our other video. And then we'll start off with some fun facts about this day 30 years ago. And then we'll talk about how we met and our wedding, for those of you that are new. Well, I don't think we've talked about specifically about our wedding too much, but, you know. Anyway, let's do the weather. It is right now 84 degrees, feels like 92, the high was 89, the low was 74. Right now it's 5:51 p.m. 50% chance of rain today, 76% humidity. The wind is an almighty 9 miles per hour from the south. Air quality is good at 38%. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to twist body parts off that are below the camera.
No.
And I see you still. The sunrise at 7:03 a.m. The sunset is at 8:20 p.m. Are you constipated right now?
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
And tomorrow, we'll have 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms again. Poor Charlie Ann, are you so sad? Okay, so that's the weather. Now, Brad's got a list of fun facts. Come here, Charlie.
No.
Come here, poor baby. Come
No.
here, Charlie. Come on.
No.
Come on, Charlie. Come on, Charlie. Come on.
Teresa and I were married.
Come on,
no,
Charlie.
just ignore him.
He needs to be up.
No,
Come
he
on,
doesn't. No,
Come
he
on.
doesn't. There's no room in the inn.
Yeah, there is. Come on,
No,
Charlie.
no.
Anyway.
No. Come on, sit up. You're out of camera. You're out of frame.
No,
Come on. Thank you. We were married August 13th. It was a... You're violating my airspace.
Come on,
there's
Charlie.
no room.
Yeah, he'll make room.
No room.
Ow.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
I almost had his anal sphincter as a nose mitten.
I love you too, Charlie.
Okay, wait a minute.
See?
Focus. He wasn't here. He was not here 30 years ago.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Hi.
We were married. It was a Saturday, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
We were married on a Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m.
No, I didn't remember what time.
At the Mills Fire Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And we had...
The reception there, too.
Yeah, we had the reception there, too. We probably had about 100 people, which was really surprising. Mm-hmm. You know, there were several people that showed up because they thought I would never get married.
And there were some people there that we still have never figured out who they are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they saw a free meal, but... Mm-hmm. And then Mom got us a room at the Hilton. Mm-hmm. And then we got a cabin up on the mountain.
You already told the fly story.
Yeah, and we only stayed up there one night. But some of the cool things for those of you that can remember, or maybe can't remember, way back to 1988, and some of you that were born after 1988. But the president was Ronald Reagan, and that's the year that they elected George W. to take over in 1989. The average income was $24,450. The average rent was $420. The average new car was $10,400. And you read a stat about a Ford Taurus, a 1988 Taurus, was like
$9,996.
Yep. And
a Beetle was $7,100.
Okay.
I don't know why I remember these facts.
I don't know either. Gas, the average gallon of gas was 91 cents. The big movies from 1989. It was a great year for movies. Rain Man. Big with Tom Hanks.
Twins.
Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Beetlejuice, one of my all-time favorite movies. Die Hard, another one of my favorite all-time movies. Grocery prices. This is what kind of surprised both of us, because there's some stuff that was just absolutely dirt cheap compared to today, and there's other stuff that it hasn't gone up a whole lot since then. A gallon of milk was $1.59, pound of bacon $1.69, Blue Bonnet margarine 50 cents for 1 pound, and now we can get it for what, 68? Okay, so that was one of those.
That's not that much.
I already read that one. Apples 39 cents a pound.
Pork chops were 40 cents a pound.
Brats $1.69 a pound. Skippy peanut butter. This is another one, $1.49. And it hasn't gone up a whole lot since then. Postage stamps were 24 cents. And I think it was either later in 88 or in 89, they went up to 28 cents.
Movie tickets were $3.50.
Movie tickets were free, $3.50. The Winter Olympics that year were held in Calgary, up in Canada. And that's where they got the inspiration for Cool Runnings about the Jamaican bobsled team. One of the tragedies that year was the bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland. 1988 has the honor of seeing the introduction of crack cocaine. And Prozac. Laser eye surgery made its debut in 1988. And the space program resumed 2.5 years after the Challenger disaster. A few more personal things. In 30 years, Teresa and I have lived in 9 different places. And we had 9 different vehicles.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
We have had 9 cats, and I listed them all. We've had, there was Charity was our first, and then Bitsy and Misty, and Spike, and Tigger, and Scanner, Jack, Angel, and Jasper. And a bulk of these were all rescued animals.
Yeah, you guys met Angel and Jasper.
Yeah.
We still have Angel.
Yeah, we still have Angel, and actually Jack is still doing well. He
yeah.
belonged to our youngest daughter, and she moved out. She couldn't take him with, and she left him, and then just before we left Wyoming, we gave him back to her.
Yeah, a few years before.
Yep. But, yeah, a majority of these were all rescued animals. I never realized that.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And then we had 8 dogs. We had Pat and Angus, and we have Missy, which we still have her.
We still have Missy.
Maximus. Max was our greyhound. Boomer, and we still have Nixie and Charlie. And we lost CJ about 1.5 years ago. So that makes 8 dogs. And we had 1 spider.
And his name was Fred.
And her name was Fred.
And then all of these animals that we're talking about, these are all animals that have all, when we say they're no longer with us, they've passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and the only one that didn't live a lot of years was Spike. And I think we lost him after, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
Something like that. One we did, well, maybe it was longer than that.
I think it was about 4 years.
Yeah, and he contracted feline leukemia.
No, he had the feline version of AIDS.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Charity passed away from feline leukemia.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, but all the rest of the animals, they lived long and very healthy and very happy lives.
And Boomer, we had him, about 4 years? Yeah, 4 years. But he was the one that was used as a stud. He was a miniature dog who was used as a stud, and when he no longer could perform, they were going to put him down, and I said no, and, he lived out his life with us.
Yeah, and he lived to be probably 18 or 19 years old. Yeah.
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 Very happy dog.
Yep, and same thing with all of these. Other than Missy, everybody else was a rescue animal.
Yeah.
Was a rescue dog.
Yeah.
And so we've had a lot of love in our lives. You know, in fact, right now we're kind of squished in here.
We got Charlie on my side and Nixie's over here.
Yeah.
Nixie is right down there. See where his hand is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
There's
her head.
Yeah.
She's
there
all
she
sorts
is,
of
and there's La Charlie right
Yeah.
here. La Charlie right here, right? I know. Oh, I know. Such a sad dog. Missy's in her in the kennel. She kind of proclaimed it as hers. Wait. Okay, I accidentally shut it off for a second.
Okay.
Sorry.
So now I can resume speaking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Resume.
You know, and we've had some rough times. You know, and
Oh, sure.
and
Sure.
I don't think anybody who's lived with somebody else long term can. I think if you claim otherwise, that you're full of shit.
We've had some rough times. We've had some sad times. We've had some times that we were on the verge of divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we've had, you know, sickness and in health and for sure and for poor.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that's always remained consistent with us, though, is that we love each other.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you have that you love each other, I feel like you can work everything out without probably the exception of if you're being abused by your partner.
Yep.
Or if they have a severe substance abuse problem,
Yep.
whether it's an alcoholic or a drug or something, you
Yep.
know. And, I mean, everybody's different. Everybody
Yep.
has that bottom line. But with
Yeah.
us, it's always been, you know, that we love each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's my very best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Linda's my best friend, but he's my soulmate. He's my, you know, and he's the one that makes weird faces all the time in the camera. And talk a little bit about how we met. When we met in, as cliche as it is, in the grocery store. He was a checker, and I was buying groceries. I came in there. Two kids that had just gotten over the contagious phase of chicken pox. And this is before they had the shots to prevent chicken pox or anything. And so they're all spotted up. And our youngest daughter, had chicken pox really bad inside her ears, all in her scalp. So that's back before they had clear calamine lotion. And so Brad didn't know what the heck was wrong with these kids.
Well, and then also, Crystal decided to do a hair trim on him.
Yeah. And no, she hadn't yet.
Oh.
That's right when I met you. And
okay.
I had been going to this grocery store for all through my childhood. And I don't remember ever seeing him.
Thanks.
You didn't remember ever seeing me, though, either.
That's true.
And
then her parents owned a bowling alley in the same. Her grandparents owned a bowling alley in the same shopping center,
mm-hmm.
and they used to come to the store to buy a lot of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
especially if we ran out of like hamburger buns or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I probably ran into them.
Sure.
I don't know how many times.
Well, you've been to my grandfather's bowling alley before.
Yeah, almost got kicked out of your grandfather's bowling alley.
But I came in there and I went through his line, and you know, I was newly divorced, and you know, the kids were 4 and not quite 2, and he started flirting with me while he was checking out groceries, and I just laughed at him, just kind of laughed it off and left.
I'm used to it.
And then I thought, hey, wait a minute, he seemed like a really nice guy, so I wrote him a note. Another cliche, you know. Wrote him a note and ended up giving it, went there to give it to him. He was out on lunch. Gave it to the most unreliable person in the whole store that you could give it to. And somehow it still made its way to him. And I thought, this guy may not believe me. He may think I'm just effing with him. So I put my full name and my address and phone number, because I thought, that way he wouldn't think that somebody would give their address and stuff if they're, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me that night, and then...
This was before cell phones.
Yep. And so he called, and we talked
for almost 5 hours.
Yeah, and then we just kept talking, and he came over for dinner and movies, and that's back when you had the VHS tapes, and I didn't have a VHS player. So he rented one of those. He could rent them at the store along with the movies, and basically came over and never left. We just always were together, and you know, how did I know he was the one for me? I felt differently with him than I'd ever felt with anybody else before in my life. I knew I could totally trust him. I knew what he said was true. And like I said, I just knew. I just felt unlike I'd ever felt with anybody else in my life. And I couldn't imagine not being with him every day. Not, sharing our life. I don't know what made you know I was the one.
I just
Confirmed
felt,
bachelor, never getting
yeah, I was
married.
never going to get married. Well, and then you were the first girlfriend I had in 10 years that I actually introduced to my family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I know there was a lot of my friends, a lot of my family members thought I was gay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I'd never been the one to
He never chased after women and
brag or
yeah.
that one girl I'd gone out with just before you and I went out,
Mm-hmm.
and we went out on a date somewhere I don't even remember, and
The one where you fell asleep on her?
yeah, she got a little pissed off at me because I fell asleep on her at dinner.
But anyway, what about her?
That's all.
Oh, that's not
It. That's all I remember.
any other reason you knew I was? You
Nope,
didn't say why you knew I was the one.
It just seemed right. Well, and I remember one of the first things you had told me is um, that you weren't the type that expected anybody to spend a lot of money on you.
Yeah.
You know, and I've never been one to the almighty dollar is not that important to me. You know, as long as we have enough to pay our basic bills and everything.
That's
and
the same way we
Yeah.
still are.
You know, and you know, if that would have been more of an issue with me, there's a lot of things I would have done differently. I'm glad I didn't, but you know, there's several times I had a chance to go into upper management, and I chose not to.
Oh, you still could if you had wanted to.
Yeah, but you know, I chose not to because you know, at that time with the company I was working for, is on your trek to upper management, you were expected to move every 6 months,
and I mean, no notice either.
Yeah, you know, and our girls were just starting to get friends in school and everything, and I couldn't do that to them.
And we didn't want you to live for the company. I mean, we're of the mindset that you work to able to afford your life, afford to live, not live for your job.
Yep.
So, you know, and that's just the type of people we are.
Yeah.
And so when I said to him, they took me out to a fancy restaurant. And that was our second date. And I was really uncomfortable. And I told him, I said, listen, I don't expect you to, you know, to do this. You know, please don't do this again because I'm really uncomfortable. You know, I appreciate it. And, you know, but you don't have to spend, you know, a lot of money on me. And I started right away showing him ways he could save money. We weren't living together yet on, you know, his living expenses and stuff. And,
yep. Do you remember what we ordered at that dinner, that one dinner?
You ordered prime rib and I ordered
shrimp linguine.
Shrimp linguine, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, just the way it was. And we're going to talk a little bit about our wedding. We did our wedding ourselves. We got engaged fairly quickly. But we waited a number of months before we got married. And we were living together. We decided to live together. And, which I think is a good idea. And that's just my personal opinion. I think it really shows you the type of person that you're going to be with. And I think it's better to know that before you sign and get into a legal marriage.
Mhm.
And we did our wedding ourselves, and like I said, I don't think they even charged us for the Mills Fire Hall, did they?
They were going to, and then
They knew your mom or
Yeah.
something.
and they opted not to.
Yeah, and I did the flowers. They were just plastic, fake flowers. They weren't plastic, but whatever material that is. So I did the bouquets and all of that, and his uncle at the wedding present printed up our wedding invitations, and a friend of ours, friend of the family, did a beautiful wedding cake for us, and then we went to the deli, and we bought sliced cheese. They gave us a really good deal on it, of course. Sliced meats. Did we buy the turkey breasts and cook them at home and then they sliced them, or?
Yep.
Okay, so that's what we did there. We bought like potato salad and macaroni salad. We bought some different kinds of bread and stuff and rolls. So it was more kind of like easy to eat foods. It was more like kind of a lunch thing, not a great big expensive big meal that you would have to have. Everybody gets their own plate and stuff. We had plates and cups and stuff, and somebody made the punch. Didn't have any alcohol in it. We opted with an afternoon wedding. There were kids there and stuff. We opted to not have alcohol, and we blew up a ton of balloons, and we scattered balloons, specifically all in one corner. And our thinking on this was, kids love balloons, and little kids will have a blast just playing with balloons, and they did.
Mm-hmm.
They did, and they had a blast popping them and stuff, and so did some of the adults. And for music, we had recorded a lot of our favorite songs.
Yep.
And it was really nice. I'm really, really happy. I mean, I elected it with my second wedding, his first. I had a big fancy wedding, my first marriage, and I hated every minute of it, and I don't even hardly remember any of it. And I loved our wedding. I just wore a white skirt and top, and then we got some little summer clearance sundresses for the girls that were,
they love those dresses.
Yeah, and
I just wore, wasn't it a white
polo?
A white polo shirt and
He
then
did wear
jacket.
a suit jacket. He didn't want to wear a tie, which I had no problem with. And yeah, we had fun. We danced and visited, and the only snafu was that my mother was being a real witch. That's a big surprise. They didn't come up before the wedding at all, and they came up the day of, and she hit that fire hall and started fighting with one of his sisters over a crab salad she had made. She didn't believe that we had enough food.
Oh yeah, because they brought a couple meat trays too.
Yeah, they bought a bunch of meat trays. It was still in the bags and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And she made crab salad and stuff.
With real crab.
Yeah.
And she had to let everybody know.
And the whole thing was is she had been wanting to plan this funeral. This wedding, and she and I went round and round, and I told her no, it was our wedding, and we would do our wedding, and and stuff. But I remember being in the bathroom being pretty upset about that, telling everybody to keep her away from me, and and stuff. But we didn't let that ruin our day.
Nope.
And it was a really nice wedding.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and his uncle took pictures, and
all we had to do was pay for the developing.
Yeah, and it was really nice. We're gonna celebrate our wedding anniversary when he gets paid. We'll probably go to our favorite seafood restaurant, and I don't know. I'd like to look into maybe going for a boat ride, either up the river or the Dog Islands and stuff. Carabel and stuff. They have a boat tour that.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think that's like $30 each.
Okay.
They'll take you around all the different islands and stuff.
Okay.
That would be kind of nice to
That
see
would be
too.
cool.
So yeah, I'd love to do something like that. Get out on the water on a boat. That would be nice. I would really like that.
Yep.
And yeah, so we're just kind of hanging out today. You guys, if you saw the video previously, our best friend Linda got us 2 beautiful king-size pillows that are like this, where it draws the body heat away from you and also draws moisture away from you. And it's got the memory foam. I'm excited.
Yep. So now when I drool on the pillow, it's supposed to wick that away.
Finally, you won't be thinking you're sleeping in the kiddie pool anymore. Changes in us over 30 years. Lot more wrinkles, and as you can see, because I haven't done my hair in a while, a lot more gray hair for me. A little bit for him, not a whole lot. Can you turn your head to the side? Yeah, see, he's got just a little bit of touch of gray going on here. But yeah, it's right here. We don't
less hair here.
Well, not bad compared to some men.
But a lot less hair.
Yeah, a little bit less. We don't worry near as much about pleasing everybody else as we used to.
No.
We used to both be where we were trying to please our extended family all the time, and finally realized that just, you got to just be yourself, and family, they're either going to love you or they're not. And, what else? I don't work outside the home anymore.
No, we made a decision a lot of years ago that it was very important that one of us be home to be there for the kids, because
I just seen too much working in different daycares.
Yep.
Having daycares of my own and stuff.
Yeah. And it was very important, so we decided that, we weren't going to complain about when things were tight and everything, that, we were doing this, for a specific reason.
And there were lots of years that things were very, very hard. We usually had just one vehicle, and we just, had kind of like we do now. And even when we had 2 vehicles, usually I would just tell Brad to take the better of the 2, because you worry when they're on the road, in the ice and the snow. I don't worry about his driving, but other people.
Yeah.
I used to be very, very, very sick. I mean, I'm so much healthier than I used to be, and I know you guys are probably like, really? I'm like, yeah. For years and years, I was under so much medication for asthma, and always on prednisone and a million different drugs. And then, I've had a lot of different medical things that have gone on over the years. I mean, more than some, not as much as some other people. But, we just made the most of it. And
there was a lot of times that I worked 2 jobs.
Yeah.
One little stretch, I worked 3 jobs, and that was burning me out. And my favorite time when I was working 2 jobs is when I was working security for the event center. And I don't know if you ever knew, but every time I worked either a rap concert or a country and western concert, I got into a fight.
You would tell me long after.
Yeah.
long after.
Yeah, but yeah. Every single rap concert, every single country
concert.
I
hate it when you work rap concerts, because I knew that, Yeah. And I usually, even though I didn't work outside the home that much, I did here and there. I worked at a refinery. I worked at, daycare. I worked at a few different stores.
Yeah.
And I also worked for the longest time for our landlord.
Yeah.
And he had about 20 units together. I think. He had 5 buildings.
Yeah. 16. So 4 units per building. They're all
16,
fourplexes,
yeah.
and for
Yeah. And I would go in and clean and paint. Sometimes Brad would help me, depending on how much work I had. Sometimes he would be doing other stuff for the landlord, ripping out carpet and that kind of stuff. And I really liked that because I could make my own hours. And, you know, it was all within walking distance, you know,
Yep.
wherever we, you know, so that was nice. And kids could pop in and out if they had a question about, you know, what to fix or, you know, whatever was going on. This was before cell phone. And, yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I even got to where I would show the apartments and have them sign leases and stuff and answer phone calls and everything. So
one of my favorites is when you worked at the first daycare, and they had this big brick fireplace. And this fireplace was about, probably a good 15 feet wide and went all the way up to the ceiling all the way. And some of the kids discovered that they could, hey, you be nice. Some of the kids discovered that they could throw their socks up against these bricks and they would stick.
Yeah,
So,
well, I think one of our kids taught them all that.
Probably. And so there'd be times I'd go to pick her up and I'd see the fireplace and there's like 50 socks stuck all over. And the cat is just blowing snot all over my arm.
Wow.
You okay, Angel? I know.
But yeah, I mean, and the nice thing about that job was I could take the kids with me. And that was nice. But, you know, I used to, and I was always selling stuff, with, you know, whatever art, whatever crafts and stuff.
Yep.
I was always selling to help make ends meet. And I used to sew our own clothes, and not all of them, but I used to sew a lot of the kids' school clothes when they were in elementary, and you know.
I still got a jacket, that camo jacket.
Yeah, the jacket, and you have a shirt, that one flannel shirt that you really love.
The
and
green
stuff.
flannel, yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a good ride. Like I said, yeah, there was a time we were incredibly broke to the point that if your electric bill was $10 more, you were kind of screwed.
Yeah.
You know, or if you spent $20 more on groceries, you were kind of screwed.
Yeah.
You know, where, you know, 1 month we're going to pay the electricity, and then we can skip a month, but we'll owe 2 months on the cable, but we made it.
Yep.
Could have never made it. Brad wouldn't have had such phenomenal health care, health insurance. That's why he stayed at his previous job for 34 years, was it had such phenomenal insurance that we didn't pay anything for.
No, we paid $10 a week.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
For me and the kids?
Yeah, for all of us.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, and
it was $5 if it was just for one person, or a family was 10.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, so that was phenomenal. But we never lived in any other. Well, Brad and I were separated for a very short time, and the kids and I lived in Oregon for about 2 months, and then but the rest of the time we all lived in Wyoming, and you know, well, I lived in New Mexico for, again, about 2 months.
Yeah.
Because I was going to college there, and it was just too hard being away from Brad and everybody. So, yeah, I came home.
And also, their art program was like 2 years behind.
Yeah, it was. It was like I'd already done, you know, an associate's at Casper College, and I wanted to do my bachelor's in it, but I didn't want to have to retake. I mean, they were behind. It's like, I've already done this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Oh. Sorry, I gotta sit up.
Gotta say something.
Something.
Say something.
Something. So
I would do it over again. What about you?
I would. No hesitations.
We decided we're going to re-up for another 30.
Yep.
Because he's pretty cute.
Yeah, come talk to me when I'm 88 and see if I'm going to do another 30 after that.
I don't know if you remember who I am by then.
Probably not.
88. Glenda's gonna make it till she's 100, so she could, I guess when you turn 100, you get a birthday card from the President of the United States.
Okay. Okay. Whoever they may be.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I would do it all over again.
Me too.
Definitely. He's a good guy.
It's all an act.
I was gonna try and kiss you, but you keep laying back and think, groan. Come on, groan like you normally do. Oh, God.
Come here, Mommy. No, don't pull away. Come on, quickly. Before I forget what I'm doing. Let me. One more. Thank you.
I can't kiss you when you call me mommy. That's just wrong.
I know. So.
Wow. But anyway, that's all we got. We'll do another one in 30 years. Wow.
Hello, boys and girls. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Say bye, Brad.
Bye, Brad.
Say bye, Teresa.
Bye, Teresa. Where are you going?
Away from you. You're weird. Anyway, we love you. And we do cherish your friendship so much. Oh, one more thing.
Oh, God.
How many different places have you worked at in our years of marriage?
Not a whole lot. 1, 2,
3, 4,
3, 4,
5, 6.
6.
6 places. Not bad. Okay. Love you guys. And we'll talk to you later, okay? Bye.
Bye.